Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Rabbi Isai, today, it's today, not a month ago. Today, 1,000 daf into Shas, according to most calculations. 1,000 daf from Brachas. I don't think it's coincidence that yesterday we started this push, and we had a tremendous hatzlacha. I know everybody wants to know. How many people do you think joined the monthly giving? I couldn't believe it. 147 people, which is tremendous. I set a goal yesterday, I said $10,000 per month. We reached $8,060. That's very nice for day one. So first of all, I want to give a tremendous shkoyach to Rabbi Grazi. You know, you guys know him. He's the guy that was on the video yesterday together with Yosef Klein. It was his push, his idea. So you shkoyach to him. I want to give a shkoyach to our first donor ever. When I said I want to build this base medrash, MDY came over and gave me $1,000. He was number one donor, and yesterday also he jumped in and said $36. 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐛𝐨𝐬, $50 a month. After he just gave $10,000 last month, and he also donated this whole thing, but that's a different story. So today, Lakewood the 1,000 daf, Nehemiah and Yosef put together this thing. I did not see it yet. So I don't think any achrayis. I'm watching it together with you. It's a 1-minute clip. Rabbi Isai, Gershon, get ready. Or don't. Here we go. Shkoyach. Some volume also, Gershon, I'm sure. Maybe I should take this off. Here we go. Baruch 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐻𝐢𝐻. It's emotional for me. What should I say? People in the 40s making a scene for the very first time. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. It is awesome to be back. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. 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 Shkoyach. It's overwhelming. It's unbelievable. All right, Shkoyach, Nehemiah. Some people, that's all they got out of the daf. They got what? So take it. You can take it. Okay, so real quickly, I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but according to my count, tomorrow's daf Pei Vav will be 1,000 daf since brachas. While I didn't start with you brachas, I've since caught up and I've listened to every one of these 1,000 shiurim. I thought that's amazing. He didn't start with us, but he went back and he listened to every single one of the 1,000 shiurim via YouTube or podcast and continue to listen daily. Thank you for all you do. Chemi. Rabbi Isai, I do want to read off, I promise. I'm not going to read all 147 names today, but we'll get to every single name, Be'ezer Hashem. Dr. Chaim Levitan or Lewitan? Levitan. 100 shekel. Avigdor Fold, 108. We're starting with the Israelis. The Israelis, by the way, there's a mas. You get a, what is it called? Kabbalat mas. You can do that. And also guys in England, they have issue with their thing. There's ways to do it. Mordechai Holtz, 50 shekel. Avigdor Fold, 108. Arya Simmons, 136 shekel. Hill Abrams, 200 shekel. Aaron Kampf, $36. It's by alphabetical order here. And so we're going to get to everybody. This is with all the A's. Abraham Shore, 36. Adam Elkins, 10. Alan Gruen, 101. Alan Barak, 36. Alan Zach, 36. Ariel Hayim Elitov, $10. Ari Simmons, 36. Avi Mandelbaum, $10. I have a video of him. I'm debating whether the breast oil or not. Baruch Weisfeld, $10. Chaim Tater. Oh, I have to mention yesterday, the guy, the tzaddik that sat next to me, Shimi Braun, $121. He said $1 per day for every kid that he has. He has 4 children, Blian Hara. And 3 of his daughters wrote me a letter. Maybe I'll read it a different time. To thank me for giving and that we want to start by saying how much our Tati enjoys listening and learning to your daily shiurim. We can sometimes find him sitting on the couch engrossed in the daf. It's amazing. We laugh every time we get into the car, either on the way to the country or somewhere far. The youngest Suri asked my father to turn on an interesting daf. At night after shul, Tati comes into our room and tells us a joke about the day's daf. May be zoicha to have hatzlacha in the daily 8-minute daf. Hatzlacha Rabba, the Braun kids. Unbelievable. Handwritten letter. Beautiful. Shkoyach. So, $121 from Shimi. Where am I? Chaim Tater 10, Daniel Averbrook 10, Daniel Gordon 36. Now listen, Rabbi Isai, I think more important than the money is the oilam getting together and doing this, 147 people. I think we need a new goal. 1,000 daf Gemara that we learned, 1,000 people. What do you say? It's not even 10% of the people that watch. But don't be embarrassed. Okay, $10, $1, doesn't matter. Be part of this. Be part of this.
2 times 5.
Yes, Dr. Epstein, $36. Is that the math? 18. Yeah. Shkoyach. Beautiful. Thank you. That's the way to do it. He started it off. Another thing I got to point out. Yosef and Zev from Chicago wrote to me, says, I already signed up by Bellworks. I gave $10 a month. But when Valensky, the kid Valensky, where is he? He's not even here today, jumped up and said $10. He says, how could I give $10 if he gives $10? I'm upping to 36. Okay, so Yishkoyach Valensky. What's his name? Yeshua. David Badil, 36. Daniel Spector, 36. Dan Rubinoff, 52. Did I say Daniel Gorin, 36? Yes. David Pazner, 10. Eitan Sullivan, 36. Achana Gilden, 36. Eliezer Brown was 36. Evan Weinstein, 101. There's something about, I don't know why in the website you go 101, not 100. Huh? That's what it is. Ilan Davidovici, something like that. Davidici, 36. Jacob Herbert, 36. Jacob Zeret, 10. Jake Lebovic, you guys know him, right? 101. Jim Levine, 10. Joel Friedman, 36. Joel Zupnik, 36. Joshua Layton, 36. Joshua Kashki, 10. Tell me when to stop. Okay, let's stop here. We'll have to do the rest. The list goes on and on and on. Okay, we're holding by Joshua Osborne, 36. That's what we're holding. So maybe the next one is Lester Blythe for 10. And after that comes Levi Folger for 10. Fine. That's where we're holding. Rabbi Isai, let's jump into it. Daf Pei Hey Amud Beis. It's unbelievable, no? 1,000 people. It's a large goal. Because I went too low yesterday, $10,000, too low. We already hit over 8,000. Unbelievable. Okay. No, it'll be one of these things. You want to give, we're a real chabur, we're a real mishpacha, we're all in this together. And you should know your money's going to 𝐒𝐚 guys, 10, 11 guys that are taking a test on a 1,200 daf in a week. Something like that, a week, 2 weeks. 1,200 daf. We're getting an artist, a full-time artist. 6 salaries, that's going to be 7 salaries. Bekitzer, Gemaras, we do chesed, we learn Torah. 100% of your dollar goes towards tzedakah. Says the Gemara, it's where it gets wide on Pei Hey, Amud Beis, all the way in the bottom, like 5 lines before then. Let me tell you something beautiful. That also? It's already 7:30. The 𝐒𝐚 is responsible for the success of our family that we merit to always crown Hashem. We're going to lose sponsors. People are going to stop sponsoring because they're doing this monthly thing. It doesn't matter. As long as we're on one big mishpacha. The Masechta. Eli Stefansky says, Baruch ben Moshe, Aaron, and Eli Moshe, Elazar, ben Shalom, and for that hatzlacha for my children. The second sponsor is Jeff Rosner. By the way, Jeff, with all the stuff that he's doing and his son in the hospital, he also signed up yesterday. Jeff Rosner is zchus my son, Yosef Simcha Chaim, ben Chana, Refuah Shlaima, Amen. Mark Ashkenazi, one of the first people to sign up, but his name is Mark M. He's $180 a month. He did the Refuah Shlaima, Jeff Rosner's son. A bunch of people did the Refuah Shlaima, Jeff Rosner. Rest of them sech, the Ofishel Mitzva Motivators are Mנשה ben Chana, Bracha, Refuah Shlaima. The Parnas HaChodesh Li Nishma Zechariah ben Moshe. Parnas HaChodesh by the Lock and Lebovic family is Lakewood, New Jersey, because Torah is the best segula. The third Parnas, Refuah Shlaima, 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐛𝐨𝐬 and Leah. Fourth Parnas is zchus, that Hashem should watch over me and ensure that I'm completely healthy at Mei V'Esrim. First sponsor, I love these. Lisa Bond, in honor of my husband Glenn Bond on his birthday. Reb Eli, we can't thank you enough. Wife who doesn't watch the daf, maybe she does, I don't know. Refuah Shlaima, Esther Chaya, Leah Bas Toiva, Rivka, Naftali Hirsch, Ben Rachel. Nusi Ginat, for his zchus for my son, 11-year-old Eli Ginat, who signed up. You all should be embarrassed of yourselves, every one of you, including you guys. 11-year-old kid signed up, 13 people. 13 adults, including Moshe Cohen. Daniel Kashlesson, I don't know, Koshlessan, to the Havat Shalom Youth Organization, Great Neck, New York, for their Kirov work. And finally, Peretz Chaim Levine, Lakewood the bar mitzvah of my oldest grandson, Yeshua Levine, son of Yedidian and Sheva Levine, may he grow up to be able to ben Torah and give his family Moshe Yiddish Nachas and bizoicha to bring hundreds of people to the daf, just like your grandfather. I said that. So Rava tells the son of Rav Chia by Ravin, so let me tell you something about your father. So here's the chart, Rabbi Isai. You have a malva and a loiva. You have a guy that looks like, you see the Rosh Shiva? What does he look like? You chap whose face that is? That's Dr. Factor's face, just with a beard. So you have a Rosh Shiva who borrowed money, and you see he lent money. He has a shtar. He lent money to Avi, to Shimon, and comes along the plumber Yossi Klein from Muncie, and he buys off the shtar. He buys the shtar from the malva. So what happens here? So you would think, okay, it's plain and simple. He takes the document and goes to the loiva. The problem is that the loiva, he promised the money to the malva. It has nothing to do with the plumber, with the guy with the strimal. So the shibud is from the loiva to the malva. Yet he bought the shtar. So what happens over here? It's not as simple as we would think it to be. Goes the malva, the Rosh Hashiva, with the Hamburg. He says, since I don't have the shtar anyways in my possession, I'm moichel the chayv. So you think he's not doing anything? No, he did a very terrible thing here. Machol, there is no more loan. Vafilu yorish moichel. Check this out. Let's say he has a son, little Avi. Avi inherited the shiabud, and he's moichel it. He doesn't even have the shtar in his hand. The shtar went to another guy in Muncie. But he has the ability to be moichel Shimon, or we call him Avi, who's the loiva. Now, he adds, a woman who's holding on to a document that says that somebody owes her money. So now she has a union, a new partner here in life, a husband. She goes ahead and says, I'm moichel. I decide I'm going to be moichel the borrower, she'enu machol. It doesn't work. Why? She's not the only one in the picture now. Now the husband's also involved. The husband has to be moichel. He wasn't moichel. So therefore, it's still a chayv. Says, He can't do it without her consent either. Of course not. He for sure not. But even her, who started out with the chayv, it's the partners there. The only thing we had is that there's a machlokes whether his hand is stronger than her hand. There's a shiloh. Maybe they're equal 50-50, maybe his hand is stronger, but she's certainly in the picture. Says the Gemara story, Rav Nachman had a very poor relative who, to make a couple of bucks, sometimes women, when they're desperate, they'll sell their ring. So she came up with an idea. She took a ksuba, she tells a guy, listen, if my husband dies, I'm going to inherit this 200 zuz. So buy from me now, right now. How much do you want for her? How much do you want? it's not worth that much. Why is it not worth that much? Because first of all, you have to wait until somebody dies. And if somebody dies, she might die before him. There might not be ksuba at all. It's like these people that buy the insurance policies. It's not the same thing. Insurance policy, that guy's going to die one day, 100%. So eventually he's going to get his money. It's a question of how long he has to wait. Over here, he might not get anything. He might get zero. Why? Because if the woman dies first, there's zero. So now what happened was, so she sold it. That's why the lashon b'toivas hana, for peanuts, for perhaps a little bit of hana. Igarsha. The husband divorces her. What happens when he divorces her? Now he becomes chayiv on the loan. Welcome back. How long was the trip back? Same amount of hours? 15 hours back?
Was that being 22 hours and 40 minutes there on the bus?
22 hours and 45 minutes getting there, but every minute was going to Rabbeinu, and the way back is like, okay, now I have to go home to my wife. That's a different story. What? Going to Eretz Yisrael. Okay. Right. Wow. 20 hours on the bus. The dedication. Okay. Huh? Welcome back. I saw you. The two of you did that video. Yeah. Welcome back. And what? Before. He also forced you to go to Uman, probably. That not. You forced him. We don't have time for jokes now. So the husband divorces her. So what happens when he divorces her? He becomes chayiv in ksubah. Ushchiva, and then she dies. And what happens when she dies? The ksubah that her husband owes her goes now to the one that inherits her. Who inherits her? Her daughter. So the daughter now comes. The people came to the daughter and they said, "Listen, you inherited a ksubah. Now we want the money from the ksubah from you." Rav Nachman. So Rav Nachman is a relative here. So he devised the plan. He says out loud so people could hear, can't anybody give this girl a good idea here? Since she's the one that inherits the ksuba, let her be Michael. It's her own father, for goodness sakes. Who's going to give her the ksuba? Her father has to give her mother the ksuba. Her mother is dead. Now she's going to go and knock on her father's door and take money. I'm Michael. Anyway, at the end of the day, when the father dies, if he died, didn't die, but when he dies, this daughter is going to inherit all the father's money. So why should you go collect money from your father? And then the Bali Chayv are going to take it from you. Just be Michael, your father. It's going to be in his bank account. And then when he dies, he'll take the money. Yeah? It's like those kids that tell their parents, "What are you doing? Why are you buying this car? You're using my inheritance money, my original money. What's wrong with you?" They actually say these things. Not my kids, but I heard it from a few neighbors. Shabbos. So she hears the idea. She likes the idea. Azla achilta. She did the plan. She was Michael, her father. She says, you don't have to pay Mam the ksuba. Omer Rav Nachman, comes Rav Nachman and he says, Asinu atzmeinu korchei dayanim. We already had this with Reb Eli and Mamish, the same lashon. Why are we helping other people? Why are we being like lawyers? Stop! I don't have a right, and it's brought down halacha. And there's a big problem with people that are tayin dayanis, tayin dayan. To be a professional lawyer in a bezdin is halachically very, very problematic. To tell somebody what to do and how to use a loophole, certainly to lie and to do what a typical lawyer does, that's pashdat zazer. But even in this case where there's no isser, he just Rav Nachman showed her a loophole. But that loophole changed the facts that we have now. He told her, as standing right now, she would get a ksuba, she would have to give the ksuba over to the people that the mother owes money to. So he showed her a loophole, how to be Michael, that's aser also. So to give a person advice, says the Shulchan Aruch, to give a guy advice and say, listen, if you say this and this, they won't know, and they would do it. Aser. Okay, so how a Tayin Dayani does it exactly, I'm not sure. A lot of times they're just telling you real halachas, and they're being misader the din. Okay, that's okay. But,
I know if one side does take, the other side no problem.
Two wrongs make a right. Okay, listen. We say in davening now in these days, lekel oirech din. So you can say pshat, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should treat us like a lawyer. A lawyer knows that the client is a liar. The client is a murderer. He takes on the client anyway. He has to defend the client. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though you know we're bad, treat us like a lawyer treats a client and then be meichel us. Mi'ikara ma'yisavar, u'lebasayv ma'yisavar. What was Rav Nachman's Havamina? He didn't make a mistake. Mikar savar u'mepsarcha l'tesalam. I have a chiyuv to help my relative. U'lebasayv savar adam chashav shani. Same thing that we had then. That people will learn from Rav Nachman and use it even in the case of a non-relative where that's usher. With a relative, okay, there's a heter. I'm finding a loophole for my relative, but now you can't do it for a stam person. Gufa. If somebody sells a loan to his friend, and then after he sold it, he turns around and he's moichel machel. Vafilu yorish moichel, like this case right over here. If the buyer, Yossi Klein, the plumber from Muncie, he's a chacham, what does he do? You give a few pennies to the borrower. So take it again. There's a malva, a loiva, and a kaina. The kaina, he bought the star from the malva. The malva has the right to forgive the loan, and then Yossi gets zero. But what you could do is a trick. You go to the loiva and say, listen, you owe him money anyway. Write me another document on top of the document that already exists and say that the shibud now goes to me. So now I save the shibud. I have the document to collect with, and I have a shibud because he rewrites it. Why would he do it? Because why in the world would he think, how many times has it happened since creation that the malva was moichel alone? Doesn't happen really. And we're going to see soon that he might still be liable. So at the end of the day, he has no problem. The loiva will write the kaina a new document, and then it'll be chayiv to the loiva will write a new document to the kaina, not to the malva, and then it'll be chayiv the loan to the kaina. Omar Mema. Man the doin dina de garmi. Garmi, like according to Rashi, Ram bin Zaken, a grama. If I cause a loss to somebody, I take somebody's star and I burn it. What did I do? I caused a $1 loss because the star cost maximum $1. But by doing so, his $1 million loan went up in flames. So what? I can't pinpoint. I didn't do a physical damage. The physical damage was the piece of paper that I burned. So could I collect damages or not? Machloikis. So even though the malva goes ahead in this case and he's moichel, very good. But the kaina could go back and grab the money from the loiva. Doesn't have to pay. But you know who has to pay? The malva. How much does the malva have to pay? He's moichel. Shkoyach, he's moichel. But he has to pay. How much does he have to pay? According to Rashi, he has to pay the entire loan. It's not just Rashi, the Rambam, Shulchan Aruch, the Shach, they all say he has to pay the whole loan. According to Tosfos and others, he only pays what he paid for. So if the kaina bought $1 million loan for $500,000, then the malva is liable for $500,000. It's very interesting. He's only liable for how much he was able to get from the loiva. In other words, if the loiva is a tough man, he's the head of the mafia, so how much money would he be able to get from the loiva? Zero. Zero, so the malva has to pay zero. Let's say the loiva is extremely poor. We know he has no money. How much would he? Zero, so zero. So it's all dependent. It's a very interesting halacha, depending on how much the loiva has and what kind of person he is. If you don't hold that you have to pay for a cause of loss, all he has to pay is the value of the paper. Maybe in those days it was a couple bucks because it's made out of leather. Today it's a few cents at most. There was a story, like our sugya, where Rafram forced Rav Ashi to the halacha, not in the. He convinced him of the halacha. They took the entire chayv. Kikshur l'tzalmei is. Oh, I did another. Okay, I forgot to show you this one. But basically, Gershon, hi, what's up, sir? You tired? So, yeah, we went through the woman and the shtar. Okay, it's the same thing basically. And she has a kid, and the kid was okay. Forgot to show you this one. She died. Okay. And I forgot to show you this one. Okay, we want a little fashluf in here. The kind of okay. This is a beam. Sometimes you buy a beam and you're very, very makbid on the beam. I looked into this. This is not Avodah Zarah. This is the Indian totem pole. So I was choshen maybe that they did it for Avodah, but it's not. So when you do a design like this, you do art, you buy the nicest beam pile. If it's in your house, you don't care what it looks like. You throw it in the attic and it holds up your house. But if it's for art, you're going to be very medaik on every knach in this thing. It should be very straight and very perfect. So that's how they were medaik here, and they took out, they made him pay the entire loan. A person owes two people. He owes his wife, the ksubah, and he owes a loan. He has cash and he has real estate. Who gets what? The balchayv misalkin alei bezuzay. I pay the balchayv with cash. Why? It makes sense because he gave me cash. You pay him back cash. The guy gives me $10,000. I'm going to give him a piece of real estate. Now I have to go sell it, and what am I going to do with it? Li'isha misalkin lebahara. As the Gemara explains, a woman gets real estate. Why? Haiki dine, the balchayv lent you money, give him back money. Haiki dine, the woman, she was soymach das. She had her mind set on the property. That's what gave her the security in the marriage. Give her property. And if there's only one piece of real estate, then only one could get her to, either she gets 200, it's only worth 200 zuz. Either she gets it or the balchayv. The balchayv yavin in law. You give it to balchayv. Lisha lo yavin in law. My time, Yosef Masha Ish Roitza Lisa, Isha Roitza Linase. When it comes to a woman, she wants to get married, so it's not going to prevent other women from not getting married because they find out that this woman didn't get a real ksuba, went to the balchayv. But when it comes to a loan, that's a big problem. It's very difficult to lend money when you know that you're going to have tsaras afterwards. It closes the door. If you make the rules difficult to collect, then other people are not going to lend money. You want to make it easy for people to lend money. People should take that out. I'm thinking now, because I have a hard time lending money because I got burnt many, many times. So people that don't pay back and play games with people that loan money, they should know they're ruining it for other people. Not only are they being over yisurim, but they're also making it harder for other people to get loans. Is it true that you said Mishmei the Rav in the name of Rav? If somebody owes money and he has a piece of real estate, and then the guy shows up and says, "Pay me back." So what does he say? Listen, I don't have any cash. Take my real estate. No, you go through the trouble, sell it, come up with the cash, and give back the cash. I never said such a thing. So what did happen? There's rumors that you said something like that. There's in that family something happened. There's a guy, a bad guy, who the borrower, the lender came and said, "Pay up." So he said, "Listen, I don't have any money. You see the money? It's not mine. It's the guy's." So, you're lying, and you're saying it's the guy's. Who was 𝐒𝐡𝐢𝐮𝐫? So Taisis different masculine about Chaim misalkin lebezuzay. Just real quickly, Rabbeinu Tam says the shloish dinim chalukim. There's three categories: lamalva, lenizik, lesacher. A lender, somebody that had damage done to him, and also an employee. If you have cash, you cannot give the lender real estate, like we say now. Now he adds to our sugya v'nizak afilu isli zuzay misal libara. If you ram somebody's car, you could give him no problem. You don't have to give him cash. You give him some real estate. Ubesachar, and this is very important to us. When it comes to an employee, this would make a lot of sense. Afilu lesli zuzay. He only has real estate. You cannot pay your employee real estate. You at that point have to sell your real estate, come up with cash, and give him. It's something that we would probably figure out ourselves, but Taisa says it first. Says the Gemara, only Rav Kana Rav Papa. Yeah, the famous joke, we're not even going to say it because we said it so many times. it's a minig not to pay back. But if it's a mitzvah to pay back alone, which it is, what if the guy says, I don't like mitzvahs. This mitzvah I don't want to do. So somebody was asking, I think it's brought down, that, but if it's a mitzvah to pay back the chayiv, then you shouldn't pay back more than 20%. For all mitzvahs, you don't have to spend more than 20%. Okay, so the answer is simple, because even if you pay back only 20%, you'd still be chayiv the 80%. Okay, fine. It's a joke. You see, it says over here, so because we have plenty of time, Reb Eli, this is what they sent me from Tomer, and his brothers got me this from South Africa, but I have another one that Avi gave me. We're going to do a test here. Every time we say Malchus from now on, believe that there, you never really pictured what Malchus is. Look at this. You think this is bad? Move back. Rabbi Schoenberg, you especially. I want to show you what this is. This is mamish, not a joke. You ready? Watch out. You almost got whacked. But listen, this is nothing. This is a joke. Now watch this. This is what they sell in the streets in South Africa. I don't know why. You ready? That on your back. You heard that? 39 times. Break the table. What happened over there? Is there any mark? It's unbelievable. Huh? This is the real. This looks scarier. And I did this at home, and this also it even has a little thing at the end, like stam, like to be mean. All the way at the end, this thing turns around and gets you. But this is garnished. Okay, from now on we're using Avi Yishkoyach, but I'm using the other one. What country did you buy it in? In Rhodes. He bought it in Rhodes for me. And then I think in South Africa they know how to do it better. The guy's walking around the street selling these things. For what? Okay, so anyways, if you do not ve'royid chazer, you get 39 of those. It's any diamond. No, it's the first time in my life I heard that on the table. And that sound is on your back. That's why you bring a doctor in to see if the guy's going to pass out or not. Yeah, the guy almost dies from, 20s, almost dead. You send him home, comes back 2 weeks later, keep on going. And he has these marks on his back. Unbelievable. That's Malchus. So if a guy eats chazer, that's what we do. When it comes to mitzvah, I say sukkah, Rabbi Sai. Sukkah, lulav, doesn't want to buy a nesrig in a lulav. You hear this? Amud Beis, sponsored in honor of my uncle Reb Eli and Pressman. And there's a zchus for you filled with mazel, brach, hatzlacha, 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐛𝐨𝐬, and parnas b'reva. And there's a zchus, second sponsor, being able to support Torah and to finish Shabbos with the Reb Eli Yishkoyach. Makin oisai, asher 𝐒𝐡𝐤 nafshay. If the mitzvah is still available and he refuses to be mekayim a mitzvah, you hit him. That was just from the sound it spilled. Like, why did it spill over there? Makin oisai, asher 𝐒𝐡𝐤 nafshay. So, and by us, a guy owes money. We take the money out of him. We force him to pay. So, if a person says to his wife, this is your get, and become divorced in 30 days. Taisus points out, we have to say, let's just stick in the word, it's very important, this word, me'achshav. It starts right now, it ends in 30 days. So, very interesting, because he said that, she will be divorced in 30 days, provided that she has access to her get, that she's holding on to the get. She put it on the sides of Reshus Harabim. Here, so I did a little thing, I took yesterday's picture. That indentation is called a Simcha. See there, Reshus Harabim is right up against the wall. Now, today, when we drive our cars, we're not driving 1 inch away from the wall. We go to the center. So right up against the wall is different than in middle of the Reshus Harabim. Less people travel there. Now, very interesting. She put her get there, and it happened to be there for 30 days. What Reshus Harabim in the world, you put something down, you come back 30 days, it's there. Just saw yesterday that in Dubai, if you drop a diamond, most likely somebody's going to pick it up and bring it to the police station. There are a few countries like that they're extremely careful and there's zero crime, and that they said this about Dubai. I don't know how true it is. There's a lot of tourists there. Maybe though, what? I don't know how accurate. That's what somebody said, but maybe it's not as posh as that. But okay, there's some places that you can put a get down and come back 30 days later and nobody even touched it. I don't know what it is. Okay, I'm saying anything. You put a wrapper in the street. It's not going to stay there for 30 days. Fine. But, huh? I did sponsors, yeah. What were you doing? You were like looking in Shainim and Taisus. Your mom is in a different world. There's a long sponsor too. Go back, go look at the video, you'll see. It's funny. What's halacha? I can prove to you that she's not divorced based on Rav and Shmuel. The Rav and Shmuel, we learned yesterday that in order to be kind of something, it has to be gathered in Milshus Rabbim. Otherwise, what happens? The Yershim get it. So the sides of Rosh Hashanah have the same halacha as Rosh Hashanah. Says the Gemara, other Rabbim, Rav Nachman. We could prove from Rav Nachman, Rav Nachman, Rav Refuah. Also a case that we had. You tell your friend, I'm selling you this cow, but only in 30 days from now. The halacha is Chana. The person is able to be koina the para. Again, as Tosis points out, as we already said, it's talking about me'achshav. And even if it's not in your possession, it's in the middle of the agam, in the middle of the swamp. My love, doesn't the swamp have the same halacha as tzidin rishus harabim? Loi. Agam l'chud, but tzidin rishus harabim l'chud, they're not one of the same. Ikadamri. Some say no. I can prove it from Rav Nachman. And the sides of Rishus Harabim have the same halacha as Agam. Adarabba, any regressions prove that she's not divorced with the Rav Shmuel. My love, Rishus Harabim isn't the same. The middle of Rishus Harabim, the sides, lie. So over here we're saying a little different. Now we're saying we're distinguishing between Rishus Harabim l'chod, the tzid Rishus Harabim l'chod, the middle of Rishus Harabim, nobody owns it, and anybody can chap. But in the side, it's different. Says the Mishnah, Hamoishev is ishtoi chenvenes. So this is a very sad Mishnah for me, very hard to understand. But a person has his wife work for him, which is never a good idea. It's always a problem in Shalom Beis. As Tosis points out, the Rishonim point, this whole Mishnah is a Shalom Beis disaster. Or he tells his wife, sponsored, Moshe zchus for Parnasa, Moshe Cohen, zchus for Parnasa. He made her in charge of everything he has. He brings it to Besdin anytime he wants. Says, I know you're my wife. I don't trust you. You have to make a shvuah. And Taisa says, I'll read the lashon soon. Not a good recipe for Shalom Beis. Even on a little dough, on a little thread, yarn, he can give her a shvuah. Says the Gemara Barlu. Reb Eli ayidei gilgul ka'amar, oy lechatchila ka'amar. By the way, I just want to point out something very interesting. Pehei Amud Beis, yeah? So yeah, fly there. A guy in Koil came over to me and said that Pehei Amud Beis, the last two lines from Krifta de Reb Nachman until Pei Vav Amud Aleph, 3 lines down, over 1 month in yeshiva. Over 1 month. He says, and I still don't know pshat. If you have pshat, let me know. For every day that they learned it, we've spent 1 second on it. Okay, fine, just pointing it out. We said this. Gilgul shvuah means if she's already chayav a shvuah, so you make her do a shvuah, the Rabbanon, so you're going to force her to do another shvuah with the Rabbanon, and you add another shvuah to it. So even if he didn't make her in charge of the house, he could just all of a sudden walk over to his wife. I don't trust her anymore. I think you might have taken a little bit more dough than necessary. All these things always bother me. I'll just say this again. I think I might have said it previously, but again, just to understand, we live in a generation of such shefa and such, some people have 1 car, 2 cars, 1 house, 2 houses, shefa. Reb Shimshon Pinko says that his father said that the first time in his life that he saw a heavy, poor person was when he came to America. In Europe, they were like sticks. And then, all for the boss, right? She says over there that she was in somebody's house in Europe, and she said, why do you have bread on top of your cabin on the top? She says, I'm waiting for the bread to go stale, then I can feed it to my kids, and then they won't eat a lot of bread. Because if it's fresh, they'll eat too much. The poverty, to understand just we Pasha don't understand it. We're not, obviously we have poverty today. I chap, there's people that are not making this and that, but it's on a whole different level. To say, I'm going to save the bread to be stale, because that's the only thing I'm feeding my kids, but I can't afford to give them fresh because they might eat another slice. It's on a whole different level. So you're talking about, it's a couple, this friction. You ate another slice. I didn't give you reshus. Shvuah. I don't think we can't understand this. It's just something we can't understand. The whole thing we can't understand. If you look at Taisus says, says Yerushalmi, my time of the Rabbanon, if you say that she's going to swear, how do they argue about that? Ein shalom b'bayis lo'olam. You'll never have peace in this house. Shavra kalim, if she breaks a dish, Ma'at David, what are you going to do about it? What is she? She's a shomer on your dishes as shomer rachem. What's going on here? She's not even a shomer chinam. There's no peace of guys taking his wife to court every day. Just a real quick story. There was a woman who was she just got married. She's washing dishes, and every time she washed dishes, she broke at least one dish. So her new husband says, "What's going on here? Every day you're gonna break a dish?" She says, "You know what? Why don't you do the dishes? Let's see if you could get away without breaking dishes." So he washes the dishes one day, two, nothing. Didn't break. He says, you see? So a week later, she takes over again. Now that she feels really stupid because he doesn't bring in dishes, she starts washing dishes, and she broke a dish. So she decides she's going to sneak out of the house. She sneaks out real quickly. She goes to the store where they bought the dishes. She goes to the guy. She says, "Listen, I need this one dish." The guy looks at her and says, "That's so weird. There's a guy that came here every day." No, Tyson said, "Shabra Kalim." Okay. Zakti Gemara. Dorma like even the daikas basroi kulahai. She tells him. This is what she says. I can't live with you. So you got to see Rashi here. Since you're so medaig on every little thing I do, so says Rashi, you don't love me. You don't trust me. You don't trust me? You don't love me? I'm out of here. I can't live with you. Says the Gemara. Tashma. We're just going to get to the Mishnah, Be'ezer Hashem. What? I did that, no? Oh, Tashma. I skipped the whole thing here. You can't live with a snake. He's a snake. He keeps on forcing me to do shvuos. So we want to know, is this a Gilgal shvuah or a lechatchila shvuah? Is it only she's already in Bezdin doing a shvuah, we'll add another one? Or no, every minute he could take her to Bezdin. It makes sense. He's a snake because he's making her do a shvuah to begin with. Gilgal, what does she care? She's already in Bezdin. She has to swear about something else. So she'll add a little bit. Why is that a snake? Because she tells them, since you're so to the what's the word? You're so medaig on me. I don't want to live with you, as Rashi points out. Toshma. So we're going to learn next Mishnah. The person could tell his wife, you know what? I'm not going to be a jerk. I'm going to be a good husband. I'm never taking you to Bezdin to swear for me. So, but what if he didn't? He didn't say, and he made her in charge of his store stuff. You can take her to Bezdin, make her swear anytime you want. What if she wasn't even working for him? She doesn't have to swear. You don't have to work for him. You can take your wife and make her swear no matter what. The wife is always going to take charge of something, and therefore you make her do a shvuah. One more line. The bottom line is, you see from here, that as long as there wasn't a Gilgal, it wasn't that she's coming to Bezdin anyway. The guy is a snake. What kind of guy takes his wife and makes her swear? So you see that he meant, Reb Elazar holds, you can take your wife to Bezin Chatchila, Shema Mino, have a wonderful day, Motzei Shabbos, 9:30. Next week, 9:15.